So Crypto Universe, I'm back with another video, and today I got $100 million news as well as ETF updates. So let's get right into it. First story here is actually a breaking story that came out recently about StegX and Zoniqx. They had a partnership where they are going to be putting up $100 million in tokenized real estates on HBAR. So the institutional platform StegX is going to be issuing $100 million in tokenized assets for European family offices using the ERC 27518, which is a compliance first token that was standard by Zoniqx, and it's going to be done on the Hedera network. So I'm going to list real quick why this matters. So one, the tokens issued will have built-in KYC/AML and transfer restrictions. For the people that don't know, KYC is know your customer. It's just the process many platforms go through to try to verify the person. You get your ID and stuff like that. Also, real-world assets deployed on Hedera's stable infrastructure. It's the first major institutional use of the ERC 7518. It also signals tokenization is moving from concept to real market deployment. So with $10 billion in tokenized real-world assets pipelines expected by Q1 of 2026, this is a major milestone for digital finance, guys. Like, again, so one thing you're hearing about throughout the crypto space over the past several weeks and months is many of these companies and institutions are tokenizing real estate. Now, there's companies that have, there's blockchain-based companies that have already saw this coming from years ago, companies like Proppy, but it's still exciting to see that many companies like HBAR and even yesterday the XRPL, they had announcements revolving around big institutions or big nations, popular companies or countries like Dubai putting up hundreds of millions of dollars on these ledgers, on these networks in order to tokenize real estate. I'm very excited to see how that plays out. So that being said, just a quick refresher on the things that happened with Hedera this week, since we're talking about Hedera and HBAR. The Vera standards with 1 billion carbon credits were issued. They selected the Hedera Guardian. Also, Dovu announced that it's tokenizing $1.1 billion worth of carbon credits. And then also just now, StegX announces that it's going to be tokenizing $100 million worth of real estate. So this is very exciting. I'm sure many people who are HBARbarians out there, all the people who are very excited and bullish on HBAR are very interested to see how this helps adoption, how this helps Hedera as well as HBAR as well as the Hedera network grow. I know I am, obviously. The next story here, speaking of Hedera, is actually about some big news that's supposed to be happening over the next month regarding Hedera, things they got coming up. I'm reading their Twitter post here where they say, here's everything that's been happening across the Hedera ecosystem this month, from product launches and leadership shifts to community momentum and media buzz. They introduced the Hedera Council, which, even though it's a new name, it's the same mission. They want a unified and brand identity powering the next era of decentralized innovation. Then they also added a AI studio with it's a open source toolkit basically for building transparent AI agents for anybody who wants to build these AI agents on Hedera's network. Then also another thing is they went to Consensus 2025, as you would expect. All big crypto companies, all big crypto/blockchain based companies are gonna try to be at all of these major crypto conventions like Consensus 2025 that happened in Toronto this year, but next year it's gonna be in Miami. So the next story I wanted to get into here is actually a story about CRO, the token CRO, which is crypto.com. Formerly Cronos. Well, it's still technically Cronos, but I just got used to calling it crypto.com at this point. But it's an announcement about a potential ETF. So CRO ETF, Canary Capital Files for US Cronos Fund as Altcoin Interest Intensifies. Canary's move to expose US investors to Cronos comes soon after Crypto.com revealed a Trump media team-up. Canary Capital filed with federal regulators to offer a Cronos ETF to investors in the US. The application is the latest of dozens of proposals that aim to track the price of altcoins. Trump Media and Technology Group is also aiming to launch ETFs in partnership with Crypto.com. Crypto asset manager Canary Capital has applied for an exchange trading fund tracking Cronos, the token affiliated with Crypto.com. The S1 registration from marks Canary Capital's latest step forward. It marks the latest step forward, potentially debuting its Canary stake of the CRO ETF in the United States, and adds to the growing list of altcoin-based funds before the regulator. The issuer registered a Delaware trust entity earlier this month. It's interesting that this was done in Delaware, but that's neither here nor there. Cronos is the 44th largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, according to the data provided by CoinGecko. It was recently trading at 10 cents, up 5.5% in the past 24 hours. The CRO ETF filing is part of the wave of applications that users have issued that have been submitted for funds based on popular altcoins. Those submissions follows the success of spot Bitcoin ETFs such as BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust ETF, which as of Wednesday had raked in a record-breaking $6.22 billion in investments in May. The filings include proposals for funds such as tracking Solana, Dogecoin, Bonk, Official Trump, and even the Ethereum NFT collection Pudgy Penguins and its associated Pengu token on Solana. Over the past few months, the commission has extended its deadlines to approve or reject applications for Solana, XRP, and Doge. Earlier this year, Crypto.com proposed resurrecting billions of burned Cronos tokens to fund a non-binding agreement with Trump Media and Technology Group, the Truth Social owner, with links to US President Donald Trump and other members of the First Family. In March, the companies signaled that they would make ETFs based on Cronos, Bitcoin, and equities for diverse industries such as energy available to investors. So again, guys, this doesn't seem like a big deal because it's not really set in stone. It's really just a proposal, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like a big deal until it is. Like, everything seems like it's moving at a snail's pace, and naturally people can become impatient until everything happens in the snap of a finger and it feels like it's just moving 100 miles per hour. Like, and I'm gonna say this pretty much every video. I remember in 2019 when people kept, that hasn't been that long, but to me it felt like so long. There was such a long stretch of people saying this is a scam and it will not last, and I kept telling people that that's what they said during the internet bubble. When the internet bubble popped and all of those companies collapsed, people were laughing thinking that the internet was going to go away, and yet here we are. You're watching this on the internet. But that's neither here nor there. Let me know, do you think that Cronos has a chance of getting their CRO ETF accepted? Do you think that the SEC, despite the past history with sabotaging XRP and Ripple, do you think they'll eventually approve XRP having an ETF? Do you think Doge will have an ETF? And also, are you excited about the news about HBAR getting $100 million in tokenized real estate that added to the Hedera network?